Now let's talk about skill transfer though. We want everything in kind of bent arm pressing, which also transfers over to straight arm pressing, to kind of stay in a working range. So what that means is if we're pressing overhead, we want to have that stacked position, right? Which is also going to look like kind of our push-up position, which is also going to go into like our dip position. We want to maintain this kind of range in all of our exercises when it comes to our pulling and pushing, to have that skill transfer over. That way when we're working our push-ups, we're working towards those handstand push-ups. We're working towards those dip to press overheads. This is also going to resemble your pull-up to muscle-up type movement. All right? So all of those areas kind of stacking and building on top of each other to have that transfer over to the higher skills. When we don't do that, when we work them individually and we just get into a position that feels best for us, we're losing a lot of that transfer. So when we work the push-up, which is just supposed to be a foundation pressing, this teaches you how to build the larger muscle groups and some of the smaller muscle groups to transfer over to more complex, harder pressing exercises. So when we work the push-up in like a wide arm position, in a broken position, we're not getting anything that transfers over to our handstand push-up, or we're not getting as much to transfer over to our handstand push-up when we get there. So now we got to take steps back and try to retrain the mechanics of the handstand push-up. And so now we're training everything separately. And it's a waste of your time and energy. If we take the time to build that straight, stacked push-up position, then it's going to transfer over to when we try to build that straight, stacked handstand push-up position. We want that transfer of skills in each one of those exercises. But when we don't spend the time building your foundation skills, your strong dip position, so that way you have enough shoulder extension for the strict muscle up. If you only work in a position that feels best for you, or just breaking parallel, then we're going to have a really hard time when we try to pull into this really deep shoulder extension position. But if you work your dip to where you're trying to get as much range of motion as you can, you're trying to get your shoulders as low as you can, you're letting your hands come back behind you and stay stacked with that forearm, elbow, and shoulder position, then it's going to be a lot easier when we try to move into those strict muscle ups. The kipping variations, we can get away with a little bit different positions, but same idea. If we can still get into those strong positions through the faster movements, it's going to trickle down into the slower movements. So in all this, you want to think about your form, your technique, what positions you're using, and how they can possibly transfer over to more positions. That being said, you want to think about everything kind of staying in this range. All right. Thanks.